Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a few topics actually. Obviously, so much has been going on, so intense. I've noticed so many things happening and people getting combative and attacking others. And it's something that we have to be aware of and not get triggered by it because, like I said, and if you've read my post about the ego and about the pain body, the emotional pain body, that likes to get triggered. So there's been so much going on with everything that happened yesterday, and I don't get into it. I don't want to get into politics and that stuff because it just brings up so much negativity, and I'd rather not. Act as an observer to it, and I trust everything in the process that's going to happen, and that's all we can do. But it's not worth to argue and fight over each other about it because it only creates more division, more separation, and everyone's beliefs are different. Everyone has the way they believe, and that's okay. We all should respect each other's beliefs, and we should never have to defend our beliefs. Never, ever, ever have to defend our beliefs. No, because it's your beliefs, your truth, and all it matters is for you to believe that in your heart and what you feel is real. Because, like I said, everybody has a different truth, everybody has different beliefs. And so if we just kind of recognize that, even if you don't believe it, that's okay. People are entitled to have their beliefs. People are entitled to believe what they want. And that's when I share my videos. These are my beliefs. I share other perspectives. People that actually has the same kind of beliefs as I do. I've used Dolores Cannon a lot because I really resonate with her stuff. And I know many, many people all over the world resonate with her stuff. And I don't expect people to have shared the same beliefs I do. I base my beliefs on my experiences, personal experiences, and information that I've read. Which I want to go into this next topic. And this topic is very important. Okay, I've waited for a while to bring this up, and I want to talk about this now because I think it's important. When I first heard this term, backdrop people, not quite sure what it meant. And when I read this in Dolores Cannon's book, Convoluted Universe, Book 4, it talks about the backdrop people. And what the best description I can give for this and what she has given to this in that book, where there are people that, how do I say that? There are almost, 7.5 billion people on this planet. Many of these people, there's a good percentage of them that are backdrop people. What that means is this, and this is the definition this is what I've read in her book, and this is how I kind of resonate with it and kind of try to explain it a little bit better. So backdrop people are basic energy, okay? They don't have a full soul like we do, like a soul. They're energy that are used in this learning environment, in this earth realm. They're energy that inhabits a physical body. Now you may say, well, how is that possible? How can they not have a soul? No, not all the time. It's no different than if it was an organic robot or a robot that's created, that's energy keeping it going, okay? So basically this energy is used to help others learn maybe lessons, see things, because we all have people that come in our life really quick and then they go right back out and then you never hear from them again. It could be a job that you work at. Maybe you come across somebody in a grocery store that you come across and you have a conversation with them and you're like, wow, that's interesting. So that's kind of the definition that I kind of give. Now my perspective also, there's the other side of it, where some of them are here to cause trouble. And I don't mean it in the way of, it's more to show you and point out the negative things or the polarities. So you can realize like, wow, I want to focus on more positive rather than what that person's doing. So get a good example of this, especially on social media. We have a lot of, I'll say it this way, false light workers. Okay, what I mean by that is people who pretend that they're sharing positivity and light. And what they do is when somebody posts a belief, and this has happened to me a few times, post a belief how I believe something, they immediately attack you. Example I can give was somebody had posted a post about, I don't know, it was an article about Madonna or something like that. I don't know, and her working for the cabal and all that stuff. And I said, well, everybody has their own opinion. And this guy just went off on a tangent on me and said, basically, you're a whore, a money whore, all this stuff. I mean, and he called me the N word, which I'm not going to repeat because I don't, this very disrespectful. And it was just a serious attack like that, and for no reason. And I wasn't trying to cause any trouble. I just, and so I just block people like that because it's not worth our time. It's not worth your time getting in an argument with them. Other people that I've come across where they all want their opinion right, that they said their opinion's the only one right, and that, and they try to break down your beliefs. That's like a very narcissistic belief, a person that does that, and they attack everybody. Everybody that disagrees with them, they attack. I had another person that I had mentioned that I was hearing from people that there were a lot of websites down, like truth websites for to get alternate news, and this guy attacked me. Come out and said, well, where's your proof? Show me all this. Show me 100 websites that are down, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no. I said, this is what I'm hearing. I don't need to prove anything. I'm just stating what I hear. So if you don't like it, then so be it. And so I just blocked him because he went on and on and on, and it started attacking me. And so this is what I'm at. These I consider backdrop people. You can consider them whatever I like the word backdrop because they're like almost like a backdrop in a play. So if you have a play that's on stage, they're like the backdrop, the back part of it. And that's the definition that Dolores has given in her books. And so they like to many instances cause trouble. And I believe that, like I said, they were used to. It doesn't mean they will never evolve. They will. It's more of like there's levels to everything, kind of like grades in grade school up through college, up through high school, then college. So everything you kind of go up levels. So they may be just a new energy that's just being used, for this purpose, for this planet. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a very difficult, like I said, I hesitated on talking about this because this is a very kind of a complex, and it's confusing because a lot of people think every body inhabits a soul inhabits every body, and that's not true. There's organic bodies out here with no soul. They're like robots. So these are like those people. Not all of them, though. Okay, so many of them are just here, like I said, to they create trouble, and I think that's part of a lot of the division that's happening in this planet. There's a lot of narcissistic people out there, and I consider those people as almost like backdrop people because they can be very, as you know, a narcissist can be very, very harmful to a person. They manipulate, they hurt person, they break that person down. We've all, I'm sure, come across them. So it's like they don't have a compassion or human feeling. I don't know what it is, but so anyway, that's backdrop people. Okay, I want to share this experience, and I talk about this. Okay, so I've read that there's a Native American Indian Native American woman named Ardy Sixkiller Clarke. Not sure, some of you might have heard of her. And this relates to backdrop people. Now, this is going to be very, I think this is going to blow your mind a little bit. So she's written several books called Sky People, is one of them. And I will leave a link in the description box. And she's written books like she interviews American Indians, Native Americans, indigenous people all over Central America, South America, up through North America into Alaska, which is obviously North America. But so she interviews these people, and the stories, these are true stories based on what the Native Americans, American Indians, indigenous people have experienced in their lives. And some of these stories are absolutely fascinating. I mean, I was just fascinated by some of these stories. So she talks about one story in particular, and I'll share this because I think people would find her books really interesting. And these are, like I said, all based on true stories from people's accounts of what they've experienced. So whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. But one older gentleman, Native American, living in, I believe, Wyoming, I don't remember, Montana, lived on the reservation, and he was way out in the country, kind of by himself in all this property. So he was very secluded. And she had interviewed him because she heard his story talked about in other Native American tribes, or with other indigenous. And every week he said he would sit in his house. He would be in the living room, and this always happened at night. He said he would watch out the window, and he would see this light come down, and he said it was like a UFO ship. And he said he would see it land, and it was like out in the field, way out in the field, like several hundred yards away, a couple hundred yards away, I don't remember. And he would sit there and watch, and he said he would see people coming out of there. And he said that it probably went on about 3 or 4 years at least. I don't know, maybe more. I'm not quite sure. I'm just quoting, kind of trying to remember the exact details. But he said he would see people come out of these ships, like looking just like us. And then a car would come up, a big black car, pick them up, and then take off, and the ship would leave. And one night he was watching, the ship came down and dropped there was a woman and a man and I believe a child, he said. And the car came up to pick them up, the ship left, and the car, everybody got in the car, they took off, and all of a sudden he heard the tire blow on the car. So of course they're in the middle of nowhere. So he's looking out there, and he had all his lights off because he's looking through his binoculars, and he goes, uh-oh. He sees the guy that's driving the car get out, who was wearing like a black suit, black hat. Okay, people say Men in Black. Yeah, basically. He said that the guy looked over at his house, and he started walking toward this Native American guy's house. And he said, oh, crap. So this guy came up, knocked on the door, and he said he opened the door, and the guy didn't have any eyebrows. His face was very pale. He said he looked very bizarre looking, the guy with that was driving the car who was picking up these people. And he wasn't even talking. He said that the guy with the suit pointed over to the car, like basically asking for help. So this American Indian went over there and like, yep, I saw what happened, and was talking to him, but the guy wasn't talking back. He wasn't getting any conversation. So he went over there and said hi to the woman and the man, the other man and the child, and they didn't even know how to respond to him. They weren't even talking. They were confused. He said the woman was wearing a nice dress and high heels and was having difficulties walking. They didn't know what to say. He said he changed their flat tire, and then they just left, and that's it. They didn't say thank you, nothing. And so he said he in his account was just a bizarre thing. He said that it was happening for quite a while, and it continued to happen once a week at least or so. This would happen. So when I hear that, I kind of look at it as a backdrop, people. I believe whether they're government working with high technology, and they're doing this on purpose for whatever that purpose is, I really don't know. But I do believe these stories of these indigenous and Native Americans, American Indians. There were some amazing stories, but this story really struck out pretty clearly in my head because it was very interesting. So I will leave a link in the description and then let you form your own opinion. But I'm trying to correlate things, kind of give you an understanding of backdrop people, okay? All right, so let's go into the next topic I want to talk about, and I mentioned this before, is I believe I mentioned this somewhat, the virus in this universe. Okay, this is also on Dolores Cannon's book. I read this, and I thought it was very interesting because it really made sense and kind of put things in perspective. I've heard other people talk about it too, something very similar. But what basically, and if you've ever read Dolores Cannon, she does hypnosis, quantum healing. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get it right. Quantum healing technique, hypnosis. Okay, QHHT. So I apologize. I went through these the sessions, and they're very amazing. I recommend it. It goes into your past lives. It goes into things that you don't really. It shows you a lot of things that you don't know from your other lives that you've had. Amazing. I've learned so much about myself. So anyway, so she puts these in her books, and her books are very, it's all the transcripts to these sessions, and she gets, of course, the permission from the person. And one of the sessions that she had was she was talking with the person's subconscious, who was an ET and a galactic council. And they were describing how all these different galaxies and beings from all these galaxies were meeting in this galactic council, kind of like you see in Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever. And they're meeting because they're talking about this virus that entered our universe here. And what had happened was this virus, or this negative energy, lower vibrational energy, infected our universe here billions of years ago. I don't remember how long ago. They said millions, billion years ago. And what happened was a group of beings who were like basically scientists were messing around with a new experiment, and they ripped a hole in the parallel universes. I talked about parallel universes before, how they're different versions of our universe layered. Okay, it's kind of like, it's hard to explain, but basically ripped a hole in the this universe, and this energy came through in our universe. So each universe has a different laws of physics, different laws of the universes that it follows. This virus, this thing they call it a virus, didn't match the universal laws in our universe. So rather than to be non-harming or non-threatening, it became threatening. It didn't know how to match its frequency energy in our universe, and so it started to attack, and it started to attack planets and infect them, and it created a very negative energy. We call it negative energy polarities, and they are trying to get rid of this and move it back out. So this moves us up to the solar flash. That's going to happen. That will cleanse this, basically. And I've talked about the solar flash event and how it will cleanse this entire universe, and it will wipe out that virus, basically, bringing this universe back to its original state. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a very shortened version. But so if you look at this, it's like an energy that doesn't, it's an energy that didn't belong in this universe. It belonged into another parallel universe. Okay? All right. So I hope that describes it. One other thing I want to talk about is I had shared this on my Facebook page, and this is really interesting, talking about the new Earth and what's going to be happening. So I had posted in my Facebook page a woman, a mother, and this story kind of hit very personal to me because my brother had, if many of you know, about a year ago, he had committed suicide. And this young mother from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, had 3 sons, and her middle son had committed suicide probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And within a few months after he had passed, his spirit came to her. And he was describing that he was on the new Earth. And he said, Angela, her name is Angela. She's the mother. She is very open, awakened. She's into metaphysical things. She talked about the 5th dimension like I do, awakening. And her middle son just never got into it. He said, "Oh, that's not true. I don't believe that. That's not true." Well, when he had passed, he moved into this 5th dimension new Earth. And one of the things that really stuck out is he was talking about how he's working over there. They're building these crystal domes and these pyramid domes, and they're healing centers in this new Earth. And they use their thoughts and they manifest it because everything is in the 5th dimension is basically manifested out of our thoughts. There's no negative energy. It's too high of a frequency where this virus can't attack. Okay, so 5th dimension and above is like a very is basically no lower emotions, no negative emotions, no anger, none of that. It's just a compassion, a love frequency. It's those energies. There's no duality. And he was describing this, and he said he was making, and she's asking, well, why are you building these crystal pyramids? And he said, because there's going to be some massive events on the planet where many people will shift over right away. Many souls will shift at once. There's going to be a big events that many will just leave this frequency either by passing, by leaving the physical body, or after the solar flash happens, they shift. And he said many of these people will come over, and their souls will need to rest, will need to heal. So these crystal pyramids are more to heal their soul, to give them a rest, and then they can live on that new Earth. So he was describing that, and he would say, "And yeah, Mom, you're right. I didn't believe in all this when I was in the physical, but now I'm here and I do believe it, so it is real." So that's what the new Earth, this 5th dimensional new Earth is. Okay, it already exists. And so he's saying there's going to be some major Earth events happening. And that's why I want to go into this next, because I'm trying to get in here under 30 minutes, about the timelines. We're on one timeline right now, as I described before, this Ascension timeline. So each will perceive, our experiences will all be different. How do I mean different? I shouldn't say different. I should say, I believe the entire planet will see the solar flash event happen. It will be a massive event, and it will basically wipe out the negativity, the lower vibrations, the lower emotions, everything will just be wiped out. For those who, now, I will say this again, Ascension is a choice. You have a choice to do your own inner healing work on yourself, to clear out past traumas, to deal with your traumas, to deal with all that, to release it. Because right now is that time. You can either choose to evolve and ascend, or you can decide to continue living lives on other 3rd dimensional planets. Now, I will say this, and Dolores has talked about this in her books too, that the 3rd dimensional old Earth will not stay around. It will see catastrophic events. It will see destruction. The planet will just be cleansed. It'll basically wipe the surface clean. And I'm not trying to scare people on this. I'm just trying to, this is part of this process, okay? And in many of her sessions, Dolores' sessions, there were ETs and other galactic beings that have seen this on other planets happen, okay? The old planets dissolve, disappear, destructive. Those who decide to stay with that old and choose to be in the lower vibrations and don't want to give that up and continue fighting and continue being negative or harmful to people on purpose, will go with that old Earth and they will pass. And then they will be incarnated at another third dimensional planet. Now, like I said, it's a choice. It's not one person or one group better than the other. So you have a choice. You can do your inner work now, as we're getting really close to this, as you can see with the things that are happening on this planet now, are being really pushed hard. The energy is everything. So focus on yourself. Do your inner work. This is so important. I cannot stress this enough, because we're all in this together. Let's help each other. Let's support each other. That's why we're here. That's why we're part of this process. I hate seeing people fight. I hate people seeing argue, and it really is. It's disheartening. It's just disheartening to me, because there's too much violence and too much negativity in this world. Let's just support each other, work together. Let's set a precedent for those who continue doing that in the political field or any other whatever. Let's set an example. Huh? Let's be better than that. Let's show that we are a united people, right? And those are my thoughts, like I said. But we have a choice. You have a choice. You can evolve and move with this new Earth, or stay behind and stay in the negative, and then you will be in that old Earth. That's if that's your choice, like I said. But my belief, and I've heard this, others that have talked about this, a solar flash will be that event that separates everything, completely separates everything. So it's in your hands. It's in all of our hands. Let's do this together, okay? Let's do it for ourselves, for yourself, to heal your heart, because that's what's important. Let's just be, okay? Let's be love. Let's be happiness. Let's be joy again, okay? So I love you all very much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your guidance. I appreciate everything. I'm grateful. If you love my videos, please subscribe below. Like my video. I really appreciate that. I will do other topics. I still want to do that series. I'm trying to gather the first interview, get that together, to interview other awakened souls, other people that are doing, on this path or of doing the inner healing work. So thanks again, and we will be in this together, right? And help each other get through it. So thank you.